What follows is what happens when you start a project with relatively high hopes, only to see it turn into a complete disaster. Okay, in this video, we're going to be making what was a fan favorite, I think number 2 or number 3 pick, from a few weeks back for a pineapple beer, also known as Topachi. Hi, I'm Charles, and welcome to DIY Fermentation, your site for doing fermentation on a shoestring budget. Okay, now before we begin, I want to give a special shout out to a couple of new members. We got 4 this time. One's a returner. Special shout out to John Corona G. Another shout out to Jabber Nasser. Another shout out to Trevor. And also we're welcoming back Leah Lockett Harris as a returning member. And I want to say once again, thank you very much for helping to support this channel. All memberships, donations, super chats, super stickers, all of that is gratefully appreciated because this channel needs it. So enough of that, let's get on with the show. All right, to make our pineapple beer, aka Topachi, we need 1 organic pineapple. Has to be organic because we're going to be using the natural yeast that's already on the skin of the pineapple that would have been irradiated away if we had used a regular pineapple. We also need 1 cup of brown sugar, light or dark, that's entirely up to you. We also need up to 8 cups of water, or 2 quarts, or for you non-imperial folk, that comes up to about 2 liters. And we need something that we can use to do primary fermentation in, which should take just a couple of days. Actually, anything with that can hold that amount of liquid, and we're just going to cover that up with just either a cheesecloth or tight weave cloth, anything that will keep the bugs out so that our Topachi will have a chance to breathe for those first few days. And that's what I'm going to be using to make this beer. Okay, the thing about using organic pineapple is that it was made using organic fertilizer. Now, a sniff test of this particular pineapple was enough to assure me that the organic or let's just say manure that was used to fertilize this is definitely still present. So we need to basically rinse these pineapples off. Normally you'd rinse it off just to remove the dirt or anything else that might have floated down on there, but let's just be honest. We don't want our Topachi or our beer smelling like manure. So we're going to give this a good rinse. I don't think we're going to be rinsing off any of the natural yeast that we're going to need, but okay, that smells much better. All right, now we can move on. What we want to do now is we want to remove the crown and the base of the pineapple using a very sharp knife. I suggest you be very careful. Won't need that. And won't need probably that. And from there, what we want to do is that we want to remove about a good 1/2 inch all the way around. I mean, you don't need to be precise, but it wouldn't hurt to be close. A little more pineapple won't hurt. Actually, it might help because it might give you a bit more pineapple flavor. But you only need 1/2 inch. And we definitely need, again, the skin because that is where we're going to get our yeast to do our fermentation with. And the remainder of this pineapple, actually, I'm making a pineapple mead following this video, if not preceding it. And I'll be using that remainder with that pineapple mead. All right, let's get our pineapple into our primary fermenter. And the next thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and add in our 1 cup of brown sugar. We have 1 cup brown sugar. I have actually packed mine. Depending on how sweet you want yours to be, you can decide whether or not you want to pack it or not. We'll go ahead and add that sugar to our pineapple skins and begin adding our 4 cups of filtered water. If your container will hold it. That was 4 cups there. Now you can add 8 cups of water, but I think I'm going to keep mine at 4 cups because I think I want a stronger, sweeter mixture. But the recipe does specify a full 8 cups of water. But because I only have a 1 quart container, I think I'll just leave it at that. Now, if you've got a larger container, please feel free to use. And I'm just simply going to just put a cover on it to keep the bugs out. If you are using something other than a picture and you just want to cover it with a straining bag or cheesecloth or whatever, just to keep the bugs out, that will work perfectly as well. And you can just simply go that route. But basically, that is it. I'm going to give this a stir. And then after that, I'm just simply going to leave it alone for the next 3 to 5 days maximum before transferring it into a secondary fermenter or bottles, your choice, and we'll take it from there. I decided to take a hydrometer reading of our pineapple beer to get an initial gravity since I'm using only half the amount of water, and it looks like it's coming up to 1.062. It's now been 3 days, and I think I want to take another hydrometer reading to see, first of all, if fermentation has taken place and what our current reading happens to be. Now, I do see small bubbles floating on the top, which I'm assuming is CO2 being released. Let's find out. Now, before taking the hydrometer reading, one thing that I have noticed is that it seems to have developed a slimy bit of consistency. If I pull this out, you can see the tip of the turkey baster that I can't draw out rather long strings of slime. I got my doubts about this one. Ooh, it's like a big, thick layer of slime right across the top. I'm not too encouraged about that. I'm going to take a hydrometer reading because I am curious to see if I was still able to get this to ferment. All right, looking at our hydrometer reading, it looks like it's coming in at 1.054. So some fermentation has taken place during those last 3 days. Now, I think one thing I can safely say is that I am not going to drink this. I'm sorry, it just looks like a glass full of thin slime, and I'm just not going to drink it. I mean, there were a couple of things that were going wrong with this from the very get-go. One, I could understand the need to use organic pineapple because of the yeast that was still on the pineapple. But after cutting the pineapple, I was also preparing a pineapple orange melomel directly after that, and I was going to add the core of that pineapple that I used to make this to that particular batch. But when I compared the taste of the regular pineapple versus the taste of the organic pineapple, that, let's just say organic manure smell that was present on the organic pineapple, it permeated the flesh of the pineapple. So you can actually, no matter how well it was washed on the outside, you can still taste it on the inside. So I elected not even to bother to use that additional leftover pineapple in the new batch that I was making. that should have been my first clue. The manure smell that came with the pineapple. The second thing that I think gave me pause for concern was that seeing that slime on the top, which appears to be kind of evident throughout the rest of it as well. It just happened to have been noticeable on the top. Was another reason why there's no way I'm going to drink that. I mean, this is just something that just did not work out. So we had the smell, we had the taste, the original taste, and we had the slime. What I'm just going to call just outright slime that this concoction produced. Is it alcoholic? Yes. Is it something that I would drink? No. So I think what we're going to do with this one is that this one is the first batch that has been destined for the kitchen sink. Okay, it's going down the drain. And I decided to push this video out only by virtue of the fact that it had promise from the beginning. If I were to remake this video, I would probably not use organic pineapple. One thing that No, who was assisting me with this particular project, also pointed out was that, yeah, there's a noticeable taste difference between organic pineapple and regular pineapple. It's just, I like organic fruits, I like organic vegetables, but this is just one case where I don't think I'll be doing that one again. If I do make it again, it probably will be with either wine yeast or, for that matter, bread yeast. Will probably do an effective job. I am going to try and do another project where I am using natural yeast, but I think this time I'm going to ensure that what's on the inside of the fruit does not taste like what's on the outside of the fruit. So again, this was a promising project. It was actually one of the fan favorites that was recommended in the poll that I conducted some time back, but this was just one that just didn't work out. So yeah, this one, I don't even want it on camera, completely off camera. This is a lessons learned. I don't know if it was something I did wrong, although I think it had a lot going wrong with it from the beginning. Again, I am going to try and make something that's a natural ferment using either just natural yeast or yeast that happens to be present on the fruit at some point, but this wasn't it. So I'm chalking this one as a failure, first on this channel. Again, if you like what you see here, please hit the subscribe button. Memberships are always welcome. Donations are always welcome. Hopefully with the additional revenue that those two channels will provide, I can provide a better product than what I turned out here. So I'll see you in the next video.